Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan, and in today's video we're going to solve another IELTS reading test from this book, Cambridge IELTS 15 Test 4 Reading Passage 1. It is a good idea for you to have a pencil and take notes and turn off any distractors such as your cell phone to have your full concentration. I'm going to give you some tips and strategies to deal with this kind of problem, and it is a good idea for you to have a smile on your face and make yourself relax wherever you are, because this is a good strategy to have a positive thinking and great feeling, especially during your IELTS exam. But before we get started, if you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video you'll be aware of it. Let's jump into it. As usual, I split the page into two halves. On the left hand side you can see the passage, and on the right hand side you can see the questions relating this passage. Okay, this is just like a computer exam IELTS. Okay, this is the passage. The return of the Harango, the arid valleys of southern Peru are welcoming the return of a native plant. And these are the questions. First of all, it is a good idea for you to just take a look at the questions. First question, complete the notes below. Notes completion, it's pretty easy to answer it. Question 6 to 8, table completion, no more than 2 words. Again, it's pretty easy. And finally, 9 to 13, true, false, not given. This could be a little bit tricky compared to those two types at the beginning. So I'm going to start at the beginning. In this notes completion, the questions and answers are in the same order. So the most important one is that you find the keyword relating to the first question. And because the importance of the Harango tree, here you have a number. Numbers are really easy to look for in the passage. You just move your eyes and quickly, ta-da, this is 80 meters. So the answer to the question 1 probably in here. Start in there. This is why the Harango tree is so suited to life there. It has the longest roots of any tree in the world. They stretch down 50 to 80 meters, and as well as sucking up water for the tree. And here it says that can access what deep below surface. So here access here means sucking up water for the tree. They bring it into the higher subsoil, creating a water source for other plant life. And below the surface, this could be related to this down 50 or 80 meters, means below the surface. So what is the answer? You need a name. You need a noun here, and you can just, in the IELTS exam, you can just use Ctrl C, Ctrl P. Ctrl C for copy, for copying a phrase or the word, and Ctrl V means pasting it. So Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I use Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Water is the right answer for the first question. Question number 2. Was a crucial part of local inhabitants what a long time ago? So these are for example, for local inhabitants, they could be using people. Maybe a long time ago they could be using another phrase, something like years ago, the ancient times. We already saw lots of IELTS, ancient, years ago. something relating to the past, something like that. Okay, so by using my IELTS keyword table playlist, you can get a habit of what is going on about paraphrasing in IELTS reading passages. So for question number 2, Dr. David, maybe in the next archaeologist at Cambridge University, has been studying the role of the horango tree in landscape change in the blah blah blah. He believes the horango was key. Horango was key, bringing the bell. Key means is a crucial to the ancient peoples. Ancient means a long time ago. People means local inhabitants. What is left? Diet. So local inhabitants diet. You see, it's like a coding language. You just see the paraphrased ones and tada, this is your answer. Helped people to survive periods of what? Periods. Something related to the period, time, something like this. It should be easy to look for. And survive. Survive could be paraphrased with something else. Because it could reach deep water sources. It allowed local people to withstand. Withstand means what? Withstand means survive. I already mentioned it in my IELTS keyword table. And periods of means years of. You see? This is easy. So drought would be your answer. Period of. And even if you don't know, you had to write something related to periods of what? Periods of drought. It's related to the time period. Okay, drought. Next question, question 4. Prevents what of the soil? So something related to the soil, and it's prevents. So moving forward, but important vocabulary to notice. I always mention this. Be careful with these words. But, however, over the centuries, horango trees were gradually replaced with crops. Cutting down native woodland leads to erosion, as there is nothing to keep the soil in place. So when the horangos go, the land turns into a desert. Nothing grows at all in the lower ice valley now. So your answer would be in here. You see here mentioned soil and keep or prevent, something like keep. Keep what? Prevents what of the soil? Something related to the soil. First of all, here it says that cutting down native woodland leads to erosion. And then he says that as there is nothing to keep the soil in place. So here, because this is really important, I take notes about this question. Cutting down the trees leads to erosion, causes erosion. Okay? Why? Because there is nothing to keep the soil in place. So it causes erosion. So this means that the opposite of this is true. If the trees are still there, they keep the soil in place and there is no erosion. Therefore, the erosion is they prevented erosion. Erosion means it's a process where soil is carried away by wind or water. Okay? You need to know the meaning. At least right now, write down notes, take notes. Erosion means it's a process where soil is carried away by wind or water. This means soil. So erosion is the right answer. I'm going to copy and paste, use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. It's really important to use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V in order to avoid spelling mistakes, because if you do spelling mistakes in your IELTS exam, your right answer considered as a wrong answer. So, and if you're taking in paper ones, be careful with your spelling. So Question number 5, prevents land from becoming a what? After a, we need a singular noun. Becoming something. This could be great. And it's related to the land as well. For centuries, the Horango, of course, the next sentence. So when the Horangos go, the land turns into a desert. This is your answer. The land turns into a desert. Nothing grows at all. So it prevents land from becoming a desert. This is your answer for question number 5, desert. So now moving forward to the next questions 6 to 8. Complete the table below. Choose no more than 2 words for each answer. Traditional uses of the Horango tree. Traditional uses, part of tree, traditional use. Be careful with this title of these columns. Here it's a part of the tree. So you had to write down part of the tree. What are part of the trees? This could be its leaves, maybe, or its branches. So something related to the tree must be right in here. Prediction, always use prediction for this kind of questions. Predict what kind of nouns or vocabularies you're going to put in this table. This is really important. You had to write part of the tree in here. This is really important to notice that. I emphasize that. So first of all, fuel. The first one, you had to look for fuel or paraphrased one about fuel, part of the tree in here. So for centuries, the Horango tree was vital to the people of the neighboring Middle Ice Valley too. They grew vegetables under it and ate products made from its seed pods. Its leaves and bark were used for herbal remedies. So here these are leaves and bark. It's just it looks like this ant, okay, and still there is a part of the tree, of course, for herbal remedies. Ta-da! This is herbal remedies, is related to medicine. So here you could write down leaves and bark for question number 7. Leaves and bark. And how about this one? I couldn't find it in here. While its branches were used for charcoal. Okay, this is charcoal. Charcoal is a paraphrase for fuel. So its branches. Branches, again, part of a tree for this answer. And the last one, construction. Look for the construction or something related to construction. For cooking and heating, and its trunk was used to build houses. Okay, this is build houses. Building houses is related to construction. So it's trunk for the last question, the question number 8. So here we have left with questions 9 to 13, true, false, not given. These are the phrases, and we have this paragraph to answer. And here it says that local families have told Valley about some traditional uses of Horango products. So it's about local families told Valley about some traditional uses of Horango products. It's better for you to highlight all keywords related to this true, false, not given, especially the first two. Maybe one of them is not given, so you couldn't find it. Farmer Alberto benefits. It's pretty obvious. So instead of looking for this one, I think if you look for this one, you could find it so easier where to locate your answer. Benefits, Farmer Alberto benefits. Where is it? Benefits. It's not in here. Okay, the second question, the question number 10, is great to look for that. Actually, always try to find the easiest ones. So nothing there in order to get people interested in habitat restoration. Benefits, no, nothing there. And some farmers are already for 13 years. Again, here, benefits. This is it. So you could find the answer relating to this question number 10. I'm not quite sure about question number 9, but probably in this paragraph maybe you could find the answer related to question number 9. But first of all, let's just looking for answer for question number 10. Farmer Alberto benefits is just for the location, is now making a good profit from growing harangos, making a good profit. Okay, and some farmers are already planting harangos. Alberto benefits, owner of Ice Valley's only certified organic farm, which Valley helped set up, has been planting the tree for 13 years. He produces syrup and flour and sells these products at an organic farmers market in Lima. His farm is relatively small and doesn't yet provide him with enough to live on. This is your answer. So he's not making a good profit. It is mentioned, so it's not given, and it is absolutely false actually. And please, even if you're practicing, write that down completely false. Some of the students just write F for false. No, the complete answer. And in your answer sheet you had to write down all of the word false. Well, it needs the cooperation of farmer to help preserve the area's wildlife. So the questions and answers in true, false, not given are in the same order. So, but even if Valley can convince the local people to fall in love with the harango again, there is still the threat of the larger farms. Some of these cut across the forest and break up the corridors that allow the essential movement of mammals, birds, and pollen up. Movement of mammals, birds, and pollen up. These are here are the area's wildlife. It's the life of wildlife. Okay, to help preserve. So, and down the narrow forest strip, in the hope of counteracting this, he's persuading farmers to let him plant forest corridors on their land. He believes the extra woodland will also benefit the farms by reducing their water usage through a lowering of evaporation and providing a refuge for biocontrol insects. So, in the hope of counteracting this means getting help from the people. He's persuading farmers to let him plant. So Valley needs the cooperation of farmers. I think this one is the answer is true for this one. Okay, now next question. For Valley's project to succeed, it needs to be extended over a very large area. Is it require a very large area or no? It does not require a very large area. So here it says that if we can record biodiversity and see how it all works, then we're in a good position to move on from there. Desert habitats can reduce down to very little Valley explains, it's not like a rainforest that needs to have these huge expanse. It's not like a rainforest that needs to have this, so it is not needed a very large area. A very large area means huge expanse. Again, another great paraphrase. You have to be careful about this paraphrasing, and I already mentioned it in my IELTS keyword table. So the question number 13, Valley has plans to go Africa to set up a similar project, has plans to go to Africa. So life has always been confined to corridors and islands. Here, if you just have a few trees left, the population can grow up quickly because it's used to exploiting water. Then when it arrives, he sees his project as a model, and if we can do it here, it's just a quotation, in the most fragile system on earth, then that's a real message of hope for lots of places, including Africa, where there is drought and they just can't afford to wait for rain. So maybe here this is a confusion sentence at the end. It's mentioned Africa, of course, but it is not saying anything about the planning to go there or not go there. So the answer for this question is actually not given. And how about question number 9, that we have to answer it, and you can find maybe something relating to this in these paragraphs because we have left this. It's about local families and traditional uses of Horango products. Of the forests that were here 1,000 years ago, 99% have already gone, says botanist Oliver Valley from New Gardens in London, together with blah. Now think about the traditional uses in here. In order to get people interested in habitat restoration, you need to plant a tree that is useful to them, says Valley. So he has been working with local families. Oh, here, this is local families, to attempt to create a sustainable income from the Horangos by turning their products into foodstuffs. Boil up the beans and you get this thick brown syrup like molasses. You can also use it in drinks, soups or stews. The pods can be grouped into flour to make, and the seeds roasted into a sweet chocolatey coffee. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals, Valley says. So there is nothing about the traditional uses of Horango products. It's again not given. Okay guys, here this is the end of this video. I hope you learn a great deal from it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.